Good afternoon, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Paul van der Merwe. I'm the founder of SARPNET, Sheriff Software South Africa. SARPNET stands for Sheriff and Attorney Return Platform and Network. A little bit about me. I completed my first Sheriff training course in 1997. I'm a certified auctioneer. I completed the CECITA SIC 2020 Sheriff Introductory course. I'm the office manager at the Sheriff's Office of Randfontein, Higher and Lower Court, and a registered Deputy Sheriff. For those of you who want to watch the video again, we made it available on our website, sarpnet.org/video/masterclass.mp4. In order to better understand what we will be discussing today, there's one important thing about SARPNET that you have to keep in mind or understand for everything else to make sense. So first of all, and most important that you need to know, is that SARPNET is a cloud-based Sheriff's Office management system. You might be asking yourself the question, online and cloud-based, why? What's the benefit? Well, one of the benefits is that there's no software installation required. There's also no specific hardware specifications required for installation to take place because there's no installation. It's cloud-based. You've got a username and password, and you can access your office and manage it from any computer connected to the internet from anywhere in the world 24/7, 365. Another benefit is the opportunity you now have to create an account for an attorney. You can provide them with a username and password they can use to log in to their account inside your office, where they can view their returns, their payment histories, and outstanding payments due to you. Let's have an overview of what an attorney will see when he logs into his account on your system. Please note, this is for training purposes only and is representing real scenario and not real data, but they're purely for training purposes. Mr. Donnie de Beer from Tutokraz has logged into system. He can see his email address, telephone number, fax number, VAT number, postal address, physical address, and the created date of his account. He can also see the cases in progress or the status of a case, 1 in registration, 5 returns completed and now payable, 23 returns already in overdue status, 312 returns has been paid and archived now for 5 years. The total you have invoiced him up to date, the total he has paid up to date, his VAT contribution, and his current outstanding balance. Please note it's also filterable by date. So if you only want to see the last 15 days, the last 30 days, the last 60 days, the last 90 days, you can have an overview that way. Any of these cases in any of these status or stages can be accessed by the attorney at any given time. Even the ones in archive, which is also his payment history. You can see that this case with this case number, with this return number, at that amount was paid on this date. You can also, let me quickly discuss the overdue. Let's say your attorney, you set up an account for an attorney and your attorney has only got a 10-day account. On day 11, a case will be moved from completed to overdue, which means it should have been paid already. So usually they open up these accounts and they settle the 23 overdues instantly, the majority of the time. You can also see at the bottom, the login status of this attorney is active. There's also other attorneys in the global law firm, but please do note that Mr. Donnie de Beer cannot see returns of Mr. Willie van der Walt and vice versa. They all only see their own account and information in their own account. Similar to the attorney, the sheriff has got a global company overview which lists all of those attorney accounts. This will be an overview of your complete office, not only per one attorney or law firm, but all attorneys and all law firms. This page is not visible by any employee in the office, only the sheriff and whomever the sheriff allows to see this page. Assume you've got a personal assistant or a financial assistant in your office. You can give them access to this page, but by default this page is not visible to your employees as it contains your financial information. Here we still did the same, registered all the registered cases, all your completed cases, all the overdue ones, all the ones in archive, the total your system has generated, the total that's been received or what's paid to you, the total outstanding in your office, and the VAT received. We also have a handy feature here where we only list law firms owing you money, and you can filter this from high to low, whatever your requirements would be. Let's say it's month end and you quickly need to collect a couple of bucks to make ends meet. You can quickly phone all the large numbers and see if you can generate that income required. By clicking on the attorney's name, you will just see the complete overview, the attorney account as the attorney would see. You also have, for everything in your office, all the cases in your office, you will have access to the ones in the registration process, ones in the completed process or payable process, ones in overdue, and all the ones archived. In this part of the video, I want to show you what I am now logged in as the Assistant 1. It will obviously not say Assistant 1, it will be a proper name, but I'm now logged in as an assistant to show you what they can see. Now they don't have access to your company overview. Okay, they also don't have the functionality to create new employees and things like that. I want you to show you what they are capable of seeing and what a return looks like. So let's open this return. On this return, you can see all the information on who it's billed to, the case number, reference number, and your return number. Each and every return gets a unique number. Usually this is the first three initials of your jurisdiction. 20 will be the financial year. 0001 is where we start, first return. And then it just automatically counts up to 02, 03, 04, doesn't matter who it's for, it just keeps track of it that way. It can also see the invoice date when this return was completed. It's partially paid as the current status, and the return was done by user PVDM77, which was Paul van der Merwe, the sheriff or whatever, but it will be proper names, not just shortcuts like I'm using in the training. Then you can see the case detail, you can see the plaintiff defendant, whether it's a witness and appearance date, yes or no, the address, service address, the process type is a court order, the court is the Land Claims Court of South Africa, and the clerk place and area. You can also see the service wording and the attempt. This is a return of service, this was an attempt. The service wording was added by Paul van der Merwe because that automatically happened by the system. The login user will be automatically added to the return if they make the return. Also it says that Deputy John Doe did this on this date and time, and Deputy Alan Davis did an attempt on that day at that time. Again, then your itemized fees. Both the service wording and the fees are loaded into the system like everybody else's. It's plain and simple to do a return. We don't have the time to show you how to make a return, and the return of service is quite easy. The prescribed service wording is in a system. It's already built into the system. You just pull it up. If it's an attempt, you bring it up an attempt. If it was after hours or whether it's a personal service, Rule 93A, at residence, then it's fine, or B, a place of business, or C, whatever. All of the service wording is already there. The only thing that's missing according to me on this, there's a registration, there's a return, there's a non-service, that's your attempt, that's your service fee, and a travel allowance. The only thing that's missing here, I would say, is the email fee, because once a return is generated, the system will automatically send an email to the attorney notifying them that a new return was made or completed by the sheriff of this jurisdiction and can be viewed on that platform right now with a link to it, and then they just have to log in to view it. Even if they have accounts, let's say one attorney's got accounts at 10 different sheriff's offices, he can filter, once he's logged in, he can filter between the office he wants to view. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at the functions on the return. You can email the return. By default, the system automatically sends an email to the attorney once the return was completed. If for whatever reason the attorney might have contacted you and said, please send the return of service to my personal assistant, you know what, there's a couple of ways you can look at it. They can either send it themselves, or they can give their username and password to their assistant, or you will be obliged to just do it for them because you are nice. Then you don't send it to the contact, you type in the email address they specify, and you give it a subject and a message if you would like to add something, and press send. Then the system will generate that and send it and give you a success message back, and now you know you can close that. You can also print the invoice, which will print it on a A4. It is made to fit on screens. You can also, if you have that function, save it as a PDF, but okay, let's just print that. Let me show you. Okay, it will always fit on the page, but that's the way it will look. And now it will add something like Table C Part 2 Rule 68. So there's more information available on the printed one than on the online one. The online one is just for quick reference in any case. You can also upload a document. Let's say you made an attachment and you took pictures of the things that you've attached. You can put that in your return and add the pictures to it. You can add as many files as you want, as long as the file size limit is 2 megs and below. You can upload a PDF, a document, a Word document, or the new Word docx document, or a zip only. So you can't upload, if you take a photo, a JPEG, you have to zip it, okay? Or add it into a PDF and upload that. JPEGs can contain viruses, and for server security and stuff like that, we don't want to allow any other documents like exe documents, any Microsoft Access documents, or any JPEG files even. So if it's a zip file, it's fine. It will be zipped because you'll only be able to download the zip file and not execute or extract it and execute anything inside of it. You can save the invoice as a PDF, which will download it and save it as a PDF. You can enter a payment. Now, entering payments and cancelling of invoices is restricted again to the sheriff only, because we don't want anybody else to just go in the office to just cancel invoices left and right or enter payments, because money comes into the office, they put it in their pockets and they say, oh, it's paid. But you don't want them to cancel invoices either, because then they would just receive the money and cancel the invoice and it's taken out of the system. So you don't want any of that. So if you enter payment as assistant 1, I'm not allowed to enter a payment because the sheriff didn't give me the authority to do so. It says no, you have to speak to the office manager S. Jones regarding this. Okay? Or I want to cancel the invoice. No, you can't do that because you need to speak to the office manager S. Jones regarding this. In order for them to do it. So that there's always 2 people doing a function in the office, just for better security and minimizing the opportunities available in internal office problems. So that's basically what the return will look like and all the functions you will have on this. Entering payments is quite easy. I don't have to show you that. The sheriff or the office assistant can just go enter payment. They're going to select it's a partial payment or a full payment, and the date and time will automatically get stamped to it when they captured it. You can see it was captured on this date, captured by Paul on this date, but the payment date could be different. Okay, so if you only do your accounting once a week, you can roll back and say, okay, this account was paid, or this return was paid on such and such date. We also have that other function that's not available on this one. It doesn't show it, but should the attorney have been logged in and viewed this return, there would be a read receipt available here to say the client viewed this return of service on this date and time, and that is a function that works only when they view it, and then we can record that. Okay, let's talk about registrations. The registration process is quite easy. All you have to do is go to registrations, add new. Then you can complete the form by selecting Afrikaans or English at this stage. The case priority, whether it's urgent or standard, let's make it urgent. The court, let's say it's a divorce court, and this is a summons. Okay, case numbers. So this is a video showcasing some of the other features inside or built into SARPNET that is assistance which will help you throughout the process of the registration of managing your office. Basically, there's small little things everywhere that assist you. So this is an example of that. So 771026. Okay, so that's the case number. So now I typed in the case number because the case just came into the office. Now I want to register it, and it says there's a warning list item, and it says the attorney phoned and asked to hold over, do not serve. Okay, so we just received this divorce summons. Obviously, the plaintiff changed their mind, or applicant, and now they no longer want to serve the divorce summons. So we can just finalize the return. We can do the registration, complete the registration, finalize the return, and send the originals back because we're not going to do any work on this. Okay, but this is just a warning list. So warning list is quite easy. Whoever is in the office, they're answering the phone. There's a special request from an attorney. They go to settings, warning list, where they can enter a warning. They can add a new warning. They can give it a case number, because the first thing you're going to do is register the case number. So it's case 1234 and whatever the warning is. The warning list can be entered by anybody and it's saved. And whenever that case comes into the office and you do a registration and you try and do something on a registration case that's already in the system warning list, it will tell you about the warning. Another assistant that's built into the system is, let's say I go to Ramsey Weber. I want to register a case for Ramsey Weber. The system will now automatically pull up all the attorneys listed under Ramsey Weber, and there's a Catherine Deeks, and we're going to do that for her. But now it says warning. Okay, so there's an accounts problem here because there's a financial overdue payment. So it doesn't matter whether they've paid something or nothing. In this case, they are invoiced almost 5,000 Rand and hasn't paid 1 cent towards the account. But even if they only owe 1 cent, if they have an outstanding account, this will come up for the purpose of notifying the person who's doing a registration for this law firm. The way we run it in our office to make it simple is that if I get something like this, there's 5,000 Rand invoice and they haven't paid anything, quickly pick up the phone them and say, listen here, or send them a statement or an email by simply closing this down, going to account, statement. Okay, open up a new window. You don't want to interrupt your process. You don't have to. You can open as many windows as you want on the platform and it will just work. So I can go to Ramsey Weber. I want to send them a statement. I want to do it from September till today, 26, and I want to send them an email. And I want to say, Sheriff, whatever jurisdiction you are, overdue account. You can review the account before you type anything. Just make sure that I just want to show you that you can do this, and you can type them a thing saying, please make a payment towards us. You're asking us to register another case for you and you already have an outstanding account of 5,000 Rand or whatever, please pay. And if you press generate, it will generate the statement for them and it will send the email with the message and the subject to the registered email account. And this is automatically pulled in by the system. Okay, so that's one thing, and that takes about 2 minutes of your time, whoever's doing the registration. Therefore, we're minimizing the financial management we have to do in the office, because we don't want to sit there the whole day and just phone attorneys and say, please pay us. This was quite simple, and it's when they are just actually requesting new work. So it's even more in their face, or they feel more obliged to pay you because, oh, I just sent them a new case and they're registering it, and now they want me to pay for the old ones. Let me make a payment towards. This usually works very well, and it minimizes the financial management we have to do on our side, especially when it comes to collecting payments. So then you can just carry on with the registration because you have now done your part, and you can fill in the plaintiff and the witness and the building and the address and the street and the suburb and everything, and then just say save, and it will be available under registration. Any case that's marked in red is an urgent case. This case is currently, there's a return in progress. Okay, there's a thing called a worksheet. Let me quickly show you a worksheet. All the cases that's available in your office, in your filing cabinet that needs to be served will be listed here. So let's say I want to book this specific case out to Alan Davis. I can submit it, or I can select a complete suburb, and everything, all the cases in that suburb I can assign to a deputy, because that deputy is going to work at the suburb for the day or whatever, and it will book all of those out for to the deputy, and then we can select that deputy, Alan Davis. I can print a list of all the cases he's got with him. He counts all his cases, he marks it on the list. Well, if he checks it on the list, he signs it out. He says, okay, I'm in position of these cases right now. He goes out, do his work for the day. At the end of the day, he comes back, he signs these cases back into the office. So whoever signs it back in, check that all the cases are there, and they sign it back in. Then they complete those cases that were signed out. Let's say you had an attempt, you can mark it as an attempt and say submit, or you can say it's a return. If you say it's a return, it's going to automatically change the registration process of that thing from out of the Alan Davis, deputy Alan Davis. It's going to change it to return in progress. Let's say he went out for the day and he came back and it is a return. Okay. Then I'm going to say, okay, it's a return, submit, and now the case is a return in progress. So it follows a process flow in the office. This now goes to typists or the assistants or the data capturers, and they now need to finalize the return, add the service wording, add the fees, and then it's available to the attorney. So let's look at how we enter payments and how we capture payments in our system. I can go to any law firm, for instance. I can go to, let's go to Ramsey Webber and make some of that pay, because now they've paid. Ramsey Webber just paid. We received an email of the 7 overdue accounts or returns. They paid 5 of them. I checked that it was specifically, this is for bulk payment. I will show you a one-by-one payment and a bulk payment. So they had a bulk payment. They made a bulk payment. They paid these 5 returns. I checked that the numbers are actually exactly the same, and I mark them as paid, and I say yes. Now the account is updated, and they only have 2 overdue returns. The total invoice is still the same. The total they've paid is now balancing with the amount they paid in the bank, and the outstanding amount is only that now. Okay, so how do we capture a one-by-one payment that we received a week ago? So I will first of all find, let's just quickly show you this. Let's say I'm in looking at all the returns, or I'm looking at the company overview, or wherever I am in the system. This thing here is called a global search. You can type in, I just received a payment for this return number. I type it in. I don't know who it belongs to. They didn't specify, whatever. It was just invoice number and amount in the bank. Now I find it, it's an overdue. I can open it up. I can see it belongs to Ramsey Webber. I can view it. I see that the amount paid is the exact same as the amount due, and I can enter the payment. But this happened a week ago. So I'm going to mark it as paid, but it's not paid today. It was a week ago, and I can add it. Now my payment history is reflecting. They've got no more red, no more outstanding monies. The payment history is now captured. It says that on the 19th, which was a week ago, this amount was received. That was captured by Paul van der Merwe, and it was captured on the 26th only. So there's our traceabilities and our transparency, and everything is done. The account of the attorney is now also updated. Now they only have 1 overdue. Okay, so that's how we capture payments, and the account's balanced by itself by the system, and the attorney's got access to this system. He can check his recent payment or his payment history. He can see, okay, I did indeed on the 19th pay that amount, and all the other ones were paid on the 26th. I'm happy, the amounts are there, and it balances out on my account. Okay, and that's how we capture payments. Guys, I do apologize for talking so fast. We've got very limited time to get through all of this. I know some of you have been sitting here the whole day. You have been listening to everybody. We had to force a lot of information into a very small time period. I do apologize for that. I hope you got a good overview of how you can manage your office using SARPNET. I wish you all the best. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the South African Board of Sheriffs for their time and the opportunity to present this to us and offering the masterclasses. We do appreciate it. Whether we are deputies, assistants, even sheriffs or new sheriffs, it doesn't matter. It is valuable to all of us. I thank you all for your time. Now it's time for questions and answers if you have any. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I must say, I've never used cloud, and it was interesting that you can do anything that you want, anywhere that you want to do it. But from my side, does cloud have like, do you need specific space or gigs in order for you to participate in your program?
Well, it's cloud-based, so the server is taking all the processing power. The server is responsible for everything that you do on the system. But you need to be connected to the internet from your computer, and that will take data. It doesn't take a lot because it's small requests that get sent all the time, and there's not a lot of downloading happening. So, yep, it does definitely. You have to be connected to the internet in order for this to function.
Okay. Okay, and then as I've said also to the previous presenter, that it's only fair that I also run the very same questions through to you. I'll start with Mr. Adimilam's one, whereby do you also offer a relief plan for the new incoming sheriffs?
Yes, we can definitely do something like that. We don't have the same expenses as the majority of the service providers. Because we don't have to physically go to a premises and do an installation of software, because you just activate the account online and you finalize the training online as well, step-by-step videos. We are updating those, and it would be fun. It will be finalized by February 2021, and then training can also happen online, and we don't have to drive out to do that. So we can definitely do that because we've got a lower expense.
Okay, and then. I think the other issue is aligning or updating the so not so much increasing fees that we are given by the rules board. So how do you feed the program with updated fee structure, or must the end user do it him or herself?
Because our software is centralized in the cloud, we do actually update it for the sheriffs. They still, however, do have the opportunity to, once they have a fee, let's say the travel fee, to edit it if they should want to, because they're going to add 20 kilometers and it's going to add up. Or they want to charge a different fee for the telephone call because they had 5 calls, whatever. They can still edit it and modify it on their side before when they make the return. But both the service wording and the service fees are updated by us, but can be overwritten by the client itself.
Okay, and then the court citations, is it the same?
The same. All the service wording, all the courts, everything gets updated in a centralized thing. Everybody's using, we call it the global database table, where they can go and fetch those things. It's a global place where everybody go fetch it. But whatever they then change will be added to their database table, which will override ours again. Technical.
Okay. Okay. I'm still not receiving any questions as yet, but just to proceed with the ones that I already posted to the previous presenters. Alignment of a payment that is coming in and sending out a collection notice. Is it also aligned? I can't send a collection notice if I've received payment maybe 2 minutes ago.
If it's not captured yet, then it's going to allow you to basically send it out incorrectly. But as soon as it's captured, because it's live and it uses one database table, it will be definitely not be added to that. So it will be excluded if it's captured. It obviously just happened. If it's in a 2-minute time span, it's going to be a problem. If it's in a day's time span, it's going to be fine. Or whatever. As long as it's captured, it's going to be excluded.
Okay. How user-friendly is it? Because in most of the offices that I've seen, most of the data capturers, and I'm saying this with utmost respect, they are not so young. How friendly is it? Let me just make an example to between 40 and 50 old person.
You know what? We've got a very clean looking software platform. And because the sheriff is capable, and the sheriff is the key master and can decide which user in the office, which data capturer is doing which processes. The processes they're not allowed to do is not available on their menu for them to select. So all those buttons are removed. So we've got we follow a process flow. As a registration, the options you have is add a new registration or edit a registration. So there's two buttons. And then it follows the whole process flow through the system, and those buttons get adjusted as you go through it. So a completed return and an overdue return's got different functions. And if you view the return, the functions, we bring in the functions only when needed, and it's not always on the screen. So it makes it look a lot cleaner than it really is. There's a lot of things actually happening in the background and in all the different windows and pages. But it's much easier and it's user-friendly.
Okay. And by the way, with the logging in credentials, our debtors can access their returns, statements, and invoices, no?
Yes. As soon as you create it, if you do a registration and you have to do a registration for, let's say, Ramsey Weber, you can select Ramsey Weber. But let's say Ramsey Weber is not on your system. You physically have to go and create a law firm where you just put in the law firm name, Ramsey Weber. And then it's going to ask you a second step is to add an attorney to that law firm. As soon as you add an attorney to that law firm, you have to type in his telephone number, at least his fax number, his physical address, postal address, and stuff like that. The system will generate an account for the attorney and automatically send all the information, the training videos, links, everything of how they have to access that account and use it will be sent to the attorney automatically. Should the attorney now forget his password, he doesn't know how to log in, we made it clear from the beginning on the first mail that went out that the sheriff cannot assist the attorney with login information. If you forgot your password, you have to click the forgot password link. The system will manage all of that, so the sheriff doesn't have to now manage accounts as well, because that's just not part of their job.
Okay. Okay. The last one before I let you go, I don't want to keep you long. Please don't answer it in a sense that it's unique because it's in cloud. How unique can you describe your
Okay, I won't get it because it's in the cloud, but updates. Let's look at updates. If we change the way we design or the layout of our financial statements or the reports that you can see, income and expense sheet or whatever, if we make a change to that or we add a new feature to the software, it automatically gets distributed to everybody on the platform. We don't have to go out and do it for anybody else. It is just automatically done. That's probably the biggest advantage.
Okay. Okay. Paul, I'd like to say to you, man, thank you very much for making time. Much appreciated. And obviously, if there will be questions, they will be forwarded to you. From our side, as the South African Board for Sheriffs, we'd like to say thank you very much. I really enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you very much. I also want to say thank you for the South African Board of Sheriffs for organizing the masterclasses for everybody that they can learn more and be more productive. Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. Have a good day.